Hello and welcome to IB Times TV. I'm Marisa Christian. Today I get to chat with IB Times tech guru Dave Smith to talk about Apple's new iPhone or iPhones and what impact today's big announcement will have on the company as a whole. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
And the rumors have been swirling for months. What can we expect to hear from Apple at the big announcement today?
All right, well, there's been a lot of rumors, but it sounds like they're going to be talking about three main things. They're going to be reintroducing iOS 7, which was introduced first in June at WWDC. And once they talk about their new software, they're going to say, well, you got some new software, now you need some new hardware to go along with it. So they're going to be introducing not one, but two new iPhone models, including a high-end model, the 5S, which is the true successor to the iPhone 5, and the iPhone 5C, which is basically everything you have in the iPhone 5, but packaged in a brightly colored plastic casing.
We're used to leaks ahead of any big tech announcement these days, but the online community went to special lengths to discover information about Apple's latest products. Tell me about it.
The rumor mill never really stops when it comes to Apple products, and for these past iPhones, they've been talking about these for at least a year now. The budget iPhone has been rumored for a long time, and people have been going out of their way to find out what exactly Apple has been planning. There have been lots of leaks coming out of China from their supply chains. We've been seeing probably more shells, back shells, including and also the internal parts of the phone, probably more than normal. We've also been seeing people go into the code for iOS 7 and try to find little clues as to what the new hardware might show. For instance, people found in code for iOS 7 that there's a new feature called Mogul that won't work on any current device, which means that it'll only work on a device that's upcoming. Many people think that this Mogul feature is actually a slow motion video photography feature for the iPhone 5S, which basically allows users to capture slow motion video by recording so quickly that when you play it back at normal speeds, it looks completely normal but slowed down a little bit. So people are obviously piling on to try to find out exactly what's in this phone, and by this morning we pretty much know exactly what Apple's going to unveil. If they unveil anything else, we'll be very surprised.
Apple used to be known for their extreme secrecy. We used to have to wait for an Apple employee to leave a prototype at a bar to get any sort of information. How have things changed? And do you think Steve Jobs would be unhappy with how Tim Cook is handling these recent launches?
Well, I don't think Steve Jobs would be happy with any leaks, really. He was a total perfectionist when it came to keeping everything a total secret before the big product unveiling, because he was all about show. But I would also say that Tim Cook would probably be disappointed. He said when he became CEO that he wanted to double down on secrecy, but I think he's doing the best he can. But at a certain point, there's very little he can do. These supply chains that make all of these various random parts, from the casings to the inner components, there are hundreds of thousands of people, really millions of people, working on all these devices. And even though they say, like there are strict policies to make sure that nothing leaks out, it's bound to happen. There's just so many plants, so many people, and this information's bound to leak out. People have so much interest in these devices, they're willing to pay great money, even to somebody who would lose their job over something like this, just to make sure that they got a leak before anyone else did. So just with the amount of interest, plus the amount of people, plus the scale at which the iPhone has become such a big thing in culture, it's just bound to happen. When there's interest there, the money is there, and the leaks will follow.
Let's talk about the budget iPhone, or the iPhone 5C. What does the C reportedly stand for, and why would they want to market this phone in China?
Well, we're not really sure what the C stands for. Frankly, we're never really even sure when the S stands for in the 3GS or the 4S, and even the 5S that's coming out today. But I think the 5C, you could say it's any number of things, but I would say it's most likely color, because this is basically the iPhone 5 sold in 5 different colors, including blue, green, yellow, rose, and white. I think that some people might say it's iPhone cheap. It's the cheap iPhone 5 because it's going to be cheaper, which it will be. You could also say it's going to be the iPhone that's sold in China, because it will be. It's going to be the first iPhone carried on China Mobile, which is the biggest telecommunications carrier in the world. So you can say any number of things that might mean C, but it could mean all those things, it could mean none of those things, but I would probably say color.
Now, Apple stock is relatively sensitive to these big announcements. How has it reacted in the past, and what do you expect to see today?
It's pretty interesting, because in the past, pretty much all Apple stock goes up prior to the announcement, because just due to the excitement and the hype. And then once the products are finally unveiled, 4 out of the last 6 years, the stock has gone up. 2 years only has the stock gone down, and that was with the iPhone 3G, which was basically the second iPhone, and the iPhone after the first one came out. Like, what are they going to do next? So obviously there was maybe some disappointment there. And the iPhone 5, which was last year's iPhone, which again had a lot of hype building up to it. It was going to be the first iPhone that was not 3.5 inches in its screen. So there was a lot of hype going on there. It's going to be, it's going to be Apple's big iPhone. It's going to have so many new features. And when it didn't have all the features that many were expecting, the stock fell. And as many know by now, the stock continued to fall into the later months, and everybody started to wonder what's going to happen with Apple. I think this year the stock will actually improve, mainly because we're going to be seeing some new technology in the same shells as last year. People love new technology. And plus, Apple's going to be selling in new markets. And they're going to be selling more affordable products in those new markets too, which can only mean good things for the company. It's going to be great for their business, and I'm sure Wall Street and Main Street will really love the news that happens today.
Dave, I can't wait to see if you're right. Thanks for talking with us.
Glad to be here. Thanks.